We are joined by the third place finisher, Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Miller Lite Ford. Brad, why don't you take us through those last few laps there after the restart?
Well, that's a heck of a video to start with. You can see just these restarts here at Michigan just get really crazy towards the end. Oh, I need this. So these restarts towards the end, that'll make the blooper reel at the banquet. These restarts here at Michigan, I was watching on TV, they get really crazy at the end, and the 42 had a good run. The 24 was really good, and we were kind of right there. We were a third-place car, I think, most of the day. On really long runs, we were maybe the best car, but for most of the day, we were a third-place car, so we kind of finished where we deserved, and at the end there, I gave Kyle a really good push. Looked like Chase spun his tires just a little bit, and next thing you know, we were off to the races. I got up to second. I just wasn't as fast as Chase. He was able to get by me, and Kyle was able to drive away, which was kind of the tail of the tape there on the short runs. But all in all, a really strong day for the Miller Lite team. I think we would have been a little bit better if we could have got the sun to stay out. The clouds came out then, and we were our best really when the sun was out. But all in all, a lot to be proud of, and heck of an effort. Just seems like every time we come here, I want to win here so bad, and we just run third or fourth every time, which is really good in the Sprint Cup Series, but it's certainly not the win we're looking for. So good and bad, I guess.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Brad. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Start with Bob.
Bob Parker, ESPN. I have two questions. The first is, when Larson came into the Cup, did you think it would take kind of this long for him to get that first win? And second, you, Chase Elliott, and Kyle up there battling for top three. How many more years do you think we'll see the three of you battling for wins?
Well, I think I'd be speculating to answer both. I don't know really if I could give I don't know really if I could give an answer as to how long I would have thought Kyle would have won. I wouldn't have been surprised if he won in his first 2 or 3 starts, and wouldn't be surprised if it took him 10 years. There's no guarantees at this level. There's too many pieces, and being a great driver alone is not enough to guarantee success. Everything's got to come together. You have to have a lot of good fortune. You got to have a great team behind you, and everything just has to click on any given day for you to win. It doesn't matter who you are, what driver you are. Those things are never a guarantee, for better or for worse. So, as far as the future, I look forward to racing him and Chase and Ryan Blaney and all those guys for years to come, and hopefully there'll be exciting finishes like this one was.
We are also joined by our second place finisher in today's race, the driver of the number 24 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, Chase Elliott. Chase, another good one here at Michigan for you, but a little bit tight at the end there. Talk about your run.
Yeah, definitely. Just a bummer again here. I hate to let my guys down. It's the biggest thing. For the second time this has happened, and I made a mistake earlier on in the race, and I asked my guys to bail me out, and they did, and unfortunately I didn't do my part again. So that's a couple races in a row, or in just a few short months here at this place that we had a really good car and had an opportunity, and that's one thing I try really hard to do, is to make the most of opportunities when they're presented, and obviously I didn't do a very good job of that here both trips. So just need to rethink, try to redo my restarts a little better. That's obviously not a strong point, at least here at Michigan. So need to think about that some, and I guess take the positives. We were strong, I feel like, as a company today, which was encouraging, and we need to look at that and try to get to Darlington.
We'll go up front to Greg, and then we'll go upstairs to the press box for a pair of questions.
Brad, what was the difference between the third car and first place? Just a little pace, and can you talk about the fuel strategy that seemed to move you up in the field early on?
Yeah, we used a little bit of fuel strategy, and nothing extreme, but we just had a really good long run car, so it seemed to me that why pit? And so we stayed out on those really long runs and kept gaining spots and climbed our way from, I think, 18th to 4th or 5th there, which was really, really good. That's what you need to do at this level. But, as far as what we were missing on the short run, it's hard to say. Probably, if I had to guess, maybe just a little bit of front downforce. Looks like we're a little bit behind there. So that would be my guess as of now.
Thank you. We'll go upstairs to the press box for 2 questions.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com for Brad. I saw you in Victory Lane. Was Kyle aware that you were the one that pushed him and kind of gave him that thrust out in front so he could take the lead?
Yeah, I would assume so. I just said congratulations and good job. I didn't want to crash his victory lane too much, but just to recognize that he's certainly paid a lot of dues and deserves his success and credit for that. So I would assume so. Kyle's pretty smart. He knows who's behind him and so forth.
Question for Chase Elliott, Wolfgang Monza, Rennsport Press Agency, also from the press box. Chase, I had the impression that with this new low downforce package, you have a better fuel consumption. You can go a longer distance. Is this correct?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess you might a little bit here or there. I don't know that it has to do so much with that as it does with other things that we're dealing with as far as changes in the motor and the things the engine shop does to try to improve power is obviously trying to find the balance of how much power you can get and also have good fuel mileage. So I know all the engine builders are on a fine line there. So I think it more falls on that side of things than it does our downforce package.
Do we have any additional questions for these two?
And Chase, are you frustrated? Are you disappointed? I mean, how do you kind of move on from something like this?
Yeah, all the above for sure. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. If I wasn't, I would say that meant I didn't care. So for me, you just have to try to take the positives out of it. Recognize an issue when you see one. There's only one way to fix it, and that's to hit it head on. So no need in hiding from it. Just try to fix it and hope that you have more opportunities to improve and to show that you can do it down the road. Like Brad said a minute ago, there's no guarantees in life. There's certainly no guarantees in racing, and you just have to recognize that. And like I said, hit the problem head on.
The only way to fix it is to keep doing it in race conditions, correct? No way really you can practice it.
Yeah, I mean you can go practice it, I guess, if you wanted to go rent a racetrack and just sit there and restart all day long, if you wanted to, I guess, but. No, you're not going to recreate those scenarios or the things that are going on or what the people around you are thinking when something like like one of these cup races are on the line. So that's just a part of life, man. You do have to put yourself in those situations more often in order to see how you're going to handle them and how you can fix them moving forward. So I think my guys did a really good job today. That's the biggest thing I'm frustrated with is. I hate it for them more than I do for me. They absolutely bailed me out a couple times today. I asked them to, and they did, and they got us the lead back. And that's tough to do. So they certainly deserves it.
Brad, Mike, at the Free Press, your home track, did the package work? If so, yeah, why? If not, why?
Yeah, I think this package is pretty strong. I like it a lot personally, but it's not entirely my decision, and it's not perfect. That's for sure. There's a lot of stuff to still work on, but I think it's a small improvement in showcasing driver talent to be able to win races. I think the guys that ran up front today absolutely drove their butt off. I saw Kyle and I saw Chase and everybody, and their cars are sideways and sometimes smoking the tires through the corners, and I think that's what this racing's built on, and I think that's a good direction to go towards. So I've been a big fan of this package all along, and hope to see it move forward along with some other projects that the sport's working on to continue to improve the quality of racing for our fans and for the future of our sport.
Taylor DeSormo from MLive. Chase, you finished in the top 5 in both of these races at Michigan. What makes this track special for you?
I don't know that it's any different than the rest of them, really. For me, I just think we've had 2 good cars here. I think my guys did a good job of seeing this new aero package and trying to adjust the balance aero-wise and find a good spot, a happy place to come to the racetrack with it. I think they did a really good job of that 2 times in a row. You can't just take what we had here in the spring. If we had just brought back what we ran in the first race, we probably would have been battling for 20th. So there's a lot of things that change from race to race, and they 100% stayed on top of that, if not improved, I felt like, from the rest of the group that we were battling. So I thought that was encouraging. I don't know that it has a lot to do with the racetrack or anything like that. I think just a matter of having a strong car.
Chase, Jim Measle from Midwest Communications. Do you win that race without that late caution with 13 laps to go?
Well, you either do it or you don't, and I didn't. So that's not a very good question, I don't think, because it didn't happen. So you can't speculate those kind of things. That's just not the way life is.
Just to follow up on the earlier question about this track, your dad was so good here. He won 7 times. Has he been able to share anything with you about this track?
We've talked about it in the past a little bit, and he definitely had a lot of success here, and they were on their game many a day here. So that's definitely cool to see. And like I said, like you said, he's had a lot of success here, which is neat. We've had 2 good cars. We wish we could have capitalized and caught up to that number of his, but we didn't. So just got to move on.
All right, Brad and Chase, congratulations on the race today. We look forward to seeing
Thank
your
you.
pace schemes in Darlington.